planning takes practice
as well. And then it sort of like happens in everyday situations as well. You find yourself planning for everyday things.
Yes. And that leads us into one thing that I want to do as part of the plan, but I'm going to hold it back for a moment. I just want to look at the process of writing. And I've got here the word process, and I've put it down the side over here, so you can see it there, process, and I've used it as a mnemonic, which is a word that you use to remember things. So the P stands for planning and for precision, being accurate when you write. R is for revision, and that is your editing section where you look for your mistakes. O is for your own experience. It's very important to write about things that you know about. Then C, comparisons and other figures of speech. E, evaluation and editing, which is part of that revision, constant revision of the planning, constant revision of the writing. S, your senses. We've got 5 senses: listening and seeing and touching and smelling, and what have I left out? Tasting. 5 senses. Use your senses in the writing. And then the last one, use strong verbs. Now I'd just like you to keep that as a reminder of the things you should be looking at, but we're looking specifically at that first P, which is the P for planning. Now, Cass was saying that you use it in everyday life. Now, I've brought here one of the kind of grocery lists that we make. Now, ours tends to sit on the fridge, and we add to it. But this one I did on the back of an envelope. We often do that. And I wrote things down as I thought of them. So I've just written down the things that my family might need from 1 week to the other. We tend to shop on a Saturday, or the family does. I don't. And as you can see, you just write it down. Now, I don't know what you're like, but now you're in the supermarket and you've got your list and you are crossing off as you go. So you start with butter and you head for the butter section. Then the next one's insect repellent. So you look down it and you say, is there anything else that's cold? And milk, look, 4 milks. So you try to be in the same area to get the same things in that area. But I don't know if you do what I do, is I miss things out. And so now you've gone way over there to the stationery and you've left out the yogurt. So you've got to schlep all the way back across the shop to get the yogurt. Now, if I had mind mapped this, it would have been more ordered. So here is my list. But if before I went to the shops, there is my thing in the middle, which is going to be my groceries. If I then put anything that was cold, so here I've got butter, and there I've got milk, and it's 4 milks. Must always tell my husband how many, otherwise he doesn't know. And then if you said things like, well, stationery, what have I got that's stationery? So I'm just going to put stat there. And what have I got? I've got red pens. As you know, beginning of the year, lots of marking to do. So red pens. Any other stationery? I don't. Oh, yes. Yes. Sorry. Files. We need files for the children. And if you then did this with the whole list, you would put the things together. Then if you took your mind map to the shop with you, you would have everything and you'd know these are my areas. And I'm sure you know your local shop. You kind of know if you start on this end, it's the stationery, and then it's the glassware, and then the fruit and veg are here, and then the bread's over there. You know your own shop. So you would probably start to mind map in the order in which you like to shop. And if you buy milk in those sachets, we always try to buy it last, because otherwise you put it underneath and it's torn open by the things that are on top of it. So you would start to plan it in your mind map so that you shopped in the right order and intelligently. So your mind mapping can be used in ordinary everyday things. If you've got a problem, psychologists say you should write problems down. You could mind map your problems. It helps to order your thoughts and your feelings. So using mind mapping. Now, Cass, where do you use mind mapping? Do you use mind mapping?
Yes, I do, Janet. Every evening when I go to bed, I mind map the next day. If there's if there's an article that I need to write, if there's a meeting that I need to go to, just to get my day flowing properly. A mind map.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, what I want to do now is I actually want to do an interview. We'll be doing interviews specifically in a later program, but I'm going to interview Cass. And here I've put it down, a biographical interview, and I've suggested that there should be 2 paragraphs. Paragraph 1, the date of birth, the place of birth, the school experiences, and the current residence. And paragraph 2, characteristics, strengths, likes, achievements, hobbies, habits. Now that's the one I want to mind map. So I'm going to mind map paragraph 2, and I'm going to ask Cass to tell me about herself.